The Kenyatas are under duress to back the dialogue talks report. Raila Odinga said to be leading efforts to have all the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance top coalition members who have totally rebelled against the National Dialogue Committee report before, e.g. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Martha Karua and Eugene Wamalwa, to endorse that particular document. But the biggest question here is, do you think that Raila Odinga can successfully manage to convince his boss Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Eugene Wamalwa and Martha Karua to endorse that document? Only time will tell about that particular issue. The opposition politicians and the foreign mission chiefs are also piling pressure on the Kenyatas to reconsider their stance on the National Dialogue Committee report. And that will simply explain one of the reasons as to why the former head of state Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta recently conducted crucial meetings with these foreign mission chiefs. If you can still remember very well, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta conducted a crucial meeting with the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whiteman. Also after that meeting, Uhuru Kenyatta conducted another meeting with the UK High Commissioner to Kenya by the name Neil Wigan. After that, Uhuru Kenyatta also conducted another meeting with the Chinese ambassador to Kenya. And I want you to have a look at these photos here. Based on this particular article, the reason as to why Uhuru Kenyatta had to conduct those meetings with these foreign mission chiefs is because these foreign mission chiefs are demanding that the Kenyattas must also reconsider their stance and endorse the National Dialogue Committee report. Another question here is, do you think that the Kenyattas will finally give in and surrender to these foreign mission chiefs and finally endorse the National Dialogue Committee report? Also, only time will tell. But the mission behind these foreign superpowers insisting on the Kenyattas to sign the National Dialogue Committee report, I don't know about it. And that is why I've also said it here before, that this National Dialogue Committee report is basically not a good thing to the common mwananchi and also to President William Samoei Ruto. The reason as to why I'm saying this, ladies and gentlemen, it is because it is evident that several articles in this National Dialogue Committee report was extracted directly from the previous BBI document. The BBI document was totally opposed by majority and millions of Kenyans. President William Ruto also opposed the BBI report. I strongly believe that William Ruto is currently the President of the Republic of Kenya, who won free and fair in the previous 2022 general elections, and also William Ruto will easily win the 2027 general elections with or without the National Dialogue Committee report. The only person who has always insisted on this particular report is none other than Raila Odinga and several other Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance leaders, simply because of their political interest. But apart from that, there are also the foreign superpowers behind this scheme, who wants to ensure that William Ruto and Raila Odinga have endorsed this report. So all of these issues I've just extracted directly from this particular newspaper article in the headlines. So basically here, my analysis for today will be based on this article. So first of all, according to my considered opinion, there is no way that the Kenyattas will agree to be on the same side with President William Ruto to support or endorse the National Dialogue Committee report. The reason as to why I'm saying this is because, first of all, the Kenyattas fear President William Ruto totally, simply because of how William Ruto humiliated the Kenyattas in the previous 2022 general elections. Secondly, it is because the Kenyattas are totally ashamed because of the things they did to President William Ruto. Remember that President William Ruto did all the good things to the Kenyattas. William Ruto stood with Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta during the time of need, and he supported Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency for 3 good times. But after that, this is how the Kenyattas paid back William Ruto in return. They betrayed William Ruto, they frustrated President William Ruto so much, they intimidated William Ruto, and finally, they endorsed Raila Odinga simply because William Ruto comes from a very humble background. That is why the Kenyattas collaborated with the Odingas and the Mois to oppose William Ruto's presidential bid in the previous 2022 general elections. But also, this is where the Kenyattas draw the line with Raila Odinga and President William Samoei Ruto. It is very clear that Uhuru Kenyatta, Martha Karua, and Eugene Wamalwa are currently on the same side, that they have completely rejected that National Dialogue Committee report to an extent that they have refused to append their signatures. While from the other side, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and President William Ruto have publicly endorsed the National Dialogue Committee report, whereby Raila Odinga made it very clear that despite the fact that the National Dialogue Committee report is not perfect, but also it is a good start, President William Samoei Ruto also made his public statement endorsing that report. And this is what he said. Let me just read for you and show you on the screen. The team involved in the dialogue talks have finished the process. I want to congratulate them for coming up with the recommendations. And I have seen the recommendations and they are good. Those that belong to the executive, I will execute them without any delay. Based on the disagreements within the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance, considering this particular report, this is how things are currently falling apart between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. First of all, Raila Odinga recently tried to convince Uhuru Kenyatta to accept the National Dialogue Committee report. And that is why Raila Odinga had to conduct a meeting with Uhuru Kenyatta at night, together with several other Kiambu leaders from the Jubilee Party. And I want you to have a look at this photo here. You know, Raila Odinga must beg Uhuru Kenyatta to accept that report, simply because remember that the Kenyattas are still funding the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance coalition. And in as much as the Kenyattas are still funding the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance political activities, they will still control Raila Odinga, and there's nothing that Raila Odinga can do about it. Secondly, it seems that Uhuru Kenyatta will not change his mind on opposing the National Dialogue Committee report. And that is why, immediately after that meeting between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga went ahead and fired a warning message to all the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance leaders opposing the National Dialogue Committee report. And Raila Odinga's warning message was delivered by none other than Professor Makau Mutua. And this is what Makau Mutua said. Let me just read for you also and show you on the screen. Azimio is not a forced marriage. Please leave if you cannot support the National Dialogue Committee report, which is the product of the party's agreed democratic process. So the main question here is, why do you think the Kenyattas have totally rebelled against that report? In this particular analysis, I just want to explain to you the shocking reasons behind all these issues. But before that, in case you are listening to me up to this point, yet you haven't subscribed, I'm requesting you to please take a second or two and subscribe to this channel. You can also give this particular video a thumbs up. If you like this video, YouTube will automatically recommend this video and this channel to reach out to others. To my returning subscribers also, I really want to appreciate you for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is currently. And that is why I don't take your support for granted. You can also get notifications automatically from YouTube itself every time I upload a video on this channel by simply activating the notification bell down below. Having said that, now let us go straight into the details of this analysis. First of all, according to my considered opinion, the first reason as to why the Kenyattas are totally opposing this National Dialogue Committee report, it is because of their revenge against President William Samoei Ruto. Now, if you reflect back a little bit, just like I had said it earlier on, some issues in this particular report were extracted directly from the previous BBI report. Like, for example, the creation of positions in the government, the opposition leader, and also the prime minister position in that National Dialogue Committee report. And remember that President William Ruto opposed the BBI completely, and William Ruto did everything possible to ensure that BBI fails completely. In that process, the former head of state Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, being the president at that time, he was totally humiliated. And that is why Uhuru Kenyatta will also not want to endorse the National Dialogue Committee report. It is because of the revenge. Secondly, the National Dialogue Committee report has failed completely to address some key issues concerning the Mount Kenya region interest. Like, for example, the agenda of 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. This particular agenda was introduced by the former head of state, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, during the PBI report. But because the National Dialogue Committee report has failed to address this issue, that is why the Kenyattas are not able to endorse the National Dialogue Committee report. And that is why also the Githunguri member of the National Assembly made that statement concerning this issue. Just listen to this short video clip here.
Debate yetu ni 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote. Nikaambiwa ninyamaze. Mwaka imeisha. Tumegawa basari raundi ya kwanza. Sasa tunangojea raundi ya pili. Ni haki mimi ninyamaze mkiteseka. Niteseke. Hiyo ripoti Ishongwa anataka kuleta kule bunge. Hiyo ripoti ambayo ametengeneza wakiwa na akina Kalonzo Musyoka. Kama haitakuwa na maneno ya 1 man, 1 shilling, 1 vote, wa Mushomba anaomba ruhusa kutoka kwenu.
And thirdly, the Kenyattas are totally against the National Dialogue Committee report simply because of the politics ahead of the 2027 general elections. It seems that the National Dialogue Committee report creates some political confusion within the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya alliance. It is very hard to explain the political interest of Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka by endorsing that particular report. So basically, Uhuru Kenyatta fears that he will be left out when it comes to matters politics ahead of the 2027 general elections if he will endorse this particular report. So let us wait and see how things will turn out to be. Otherwise, that is it. I don't know what you think. Let me also know your thoughts, your views, and your opinion in the comment section down below.